This is Andreas Welch with Intelligence Briefing. I'm here at Oktane, and I'm talking to Jack Hirsch, Vice President of Product Management for the Okta platform. Hey Jack, I listened to your keynote just now, and I saw a lot of conversation about the identity security fabric. And maybe for those of us who haven't been to the event yet or who haven't caught the news yet, what is that all about? And why is it important?
Well, it's about bringing the power of identity security well beyond the point of authentication. We fundamentally know that identity is the primary source of all major breaches now. Over 80%, over 90%, depending on where you get your stats. And so fundamentally, an identity security fabric is a comprehensive solution that secures identity before, during, and after authentication. And so it needs to extend to every identity type, whether that be employees, business partners, contractors, customers, AI agents even, every use case, whether it be a privileged access use case, a governance use case, identity and access management use case, and then every resource type, whether that be, cloud apps, on-prem apps, APIs, workloads, everything. So that's the concept behind the Identity Security Fabric, and we're trying to build the reference implementation on the Okta platform.
That's awesome. I would say that's something that I really love hearing about and seeing how Okta leads the way, also in terms of thought leadership and spearheading open standards. We heard a lot about cross-app access. It's a complex time that we're in, and especially as IT and security professionals too. When we're pushed to bring more AI into the business, the CEO asked for it, your manager asked for it, you maybe want to try it out. But there was something else that I caught in the keynote when you talked about continuous security, and I heard you allude to it in the other answer a little bit. Can you talk more about that? What's continuous security all about?
Yeah, so I think, winding back the clock a few years ago, there was so much focus on the point of authentication, right? First it was MFA, then it was phishing resistant MFA, then it was phishing resistant cross-platform MFA that would work regardless of the device's management posture, right? And now what we've realized is that is probably the point of greatest security in that user's lifecycle, because we know everything about that user. And then over time, naturally, that session security degrades over time. Right? And so it's really important for us in the security space to maintain that session security without doing the dreaded pop-up re-auth. Right. And so a huge area of investment for Okta, but also many of our partners in the security space, is around risk signal sharing and automating detection and remediation.
I see.
So across the identity security fabric. So that can be something like detecting post-auth risk coming from a shared signals framework provider, like from partners like CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Palo, bringing that into Okta, maybe terminating that session using universal logout, and then kicking off a special type of access review in Okta Identity Governance, like a security access review that not only highlights, it's not a standard type of access certification or access review, you will actually highlight what resources the user may have accessed during a potential identity compromise. And so when you take into account, again, the fact that I think the number is upwards of 3 billion credentials and tokens were stolen from the Fortune 1000 alone in a year, post-auth security really is the defining challenge of our time until AI agents.
Right. Now, look, there's not only so much push in the enterprise, but if you go on YouTube, there's so many tutorials. It's crazy. Build your agents in this platform, in that workflow tool.
Yeah.
Take an API key, pop it in there.
Easy.
Right?
Easy.
So is that how enterprises should be doing it too? Or what do you recommend they do instead?
Today, the unfortunate reality is enterprises are stuck with this, and security leaders are stuck with this impossible choice. They're getting this incredible top-down pressure from their leaders, from boards, saying, you have to adopt AI now. What can you do to adopt AI faster? And builders effectively have two choices, right? On one hand, you can use a static API key. I'll just go grab the API key of whatever the resource is this agent needs access to, Box or Google Drive, my CRM like Salesforce. And what could go wrong? I'll just take these over-permissioned static credentials and shove them in. That's one option. The other option is OAuth. And OAuth is really meant to be a consumer solution because you as a user get to grant access to this agent to your Box or Salesforce, et cetera. That delegates the authorization from central security down to the end user.
True.
The user experience is terrible because then the end user has to OAuth consent a bunch of times.
All the pop-ups.
And it is exactly, and it is a horrible user experience,
Yes.
and it's nearly impossible to discover all those OAuth grants.
Right.
And so those are the choices today.
Yeah.
And so the Okta platform is investing in discovering all of those grant types, whether they be static credentials or OAuth grants.
Yeah.
But this is also where we need the standard of cross-app access to provide the appropriate guardrails for secure agentic access. Happy to share more about that.
Yeah.
But this is the world that we have, and this is why builders have been struggling to get their AI products adopted in the modern enterprise.
Right, yeah. I think we've all seen the stats. Doesn't matter who publishes them, but somewhere between 80, 90, 95% of projects fail.
Oh, yes,
right.
Exactly.
These two, and in part, I'm sure also because of security, right?
Absolutely. I mean, effectively, if you give these over-permissioned credentials to an AI agent, you're trusting the builder to do the right thing by the permissions of the user, the human user that's engaging with it, or maybe the other AI agent that's engaging with it. That is a really, really risky proposition.
Yeah. Question for you, can we talk about rogue agents for a second?
Absolutely.
Because I've been thinking about this quite a bit too, because in the conversations that I'm having with a lot of leaders, security does not come up as one of the most important things when we give these permissions to agents. It's, to your point, what can we build? How can we roll this out? And I think there's such a big opportunity that's missed. And then on the other side, how do you even know what's happening in your network? You have human users and you give them an identity, but what if they spin up 5, 10, dozens of agents? How do you rein that in?
So I think the first step, so first off, we hear that a lot, and we have heard some really wacky stories about AI agents gone rogue, like rogue agents that have deleted entire production databases. We've heard agents that I shared with that I actually did hear a legitimate story about agent-to-agent interactions where they got in an argument, and they decided that they were no longer going to be on speaking terms. So in general, I think the solution set and the approach as security practitioners should take is first things first, you have to gain visibility into what AI agents exist in your ecosystem. And with Okta's Identity Security Posture Management, we're discovering those static credentials, service accounts that are used in those generally over-permissioned scenarios. And then we're also releasing OAuth grant detection for ISPM. And then so first is visibility, then bring them under control, right? Take those agents, assign them a human owner, and bring them in as a first-class citizen in Okta's Universal Directory, regardless of how they're built, regardless if it's an agent within Salesforce or an agent within Box, or it's a custom-built application with its own app stack. You can bring all of those agents in, and then you can govern them. You can basically assign access, have access reviews and certifications for access to the agent, or even agent itself can ask for permission to other resources as well. So it's a complete life cycle, all within Okta, all on a single platform.
That's super exciting. And also the fact that you're elevating agents to a first-class citizen in addition to humans and non-human identities. I think that's fantastic, and just conceptually even.
And it has actually been a really interesting design challenge. I have to thank so many of our customers and partners who have helped us conceptualize how to model these things, because again, sometimes they're standalone things, sometimes they're things within an existing platform, and everything in between. And we had to bring that all in and make those a first-class citizen in the Okta platforms.
That's awesome. Now, final question for you. Okta has been growing through its own innovations and products. There have also been acquisitions over the years. Okta just recently made an acquisition of Axiom Security. And I'm curious, what is that all about? Can you share a little bit more about that and what's in store for your customers?
So I think most importantly to us is we hear directly from our customers that when they buy a bag of solutions, even if it's from the same vendor, those are point solutions, and our customers end up paying more to stitch them together. Right. Yeah. And they end up, so not only paying more, but having worse security outcomes as a result. Right. So our entire philosophy, our product strategy is around building this unified identity security platform. And so the acquisition of Axiom, again, every identity, every use case, every resource type. Yeah. So Axiom gave our Okta Privileged Access product visibility and control and governance into a new set of resource types, which were Kubernetes and databases.
Okay.
And so while it is very much not our intent to splinter and have multiple products in each category, we want a singular product suite that is category leading across all of these product areas. And so Axiom is going to accelerate our, effectively accelerate the depth of integration for our entire identity security fabric. And I'm happy to share more.
Yeah.
We're getting a ton of leverage.
Yeah.
So I think it was about a year and a half ago, we acquired a company called Spera that ended up becoming our identity security posture management product.
Yeah, right, yeah.
One of the big announcements today is that ISPM, Okta's ISPM now, is going to be able to connect to not only the apps, the IDPs and applications that are sort of critical resources, but we're going to open up to all of the SCIM applications that already exist in the Okta integration network.
Awesome.
And so you're going to be able to do the deep identity security posture detections across the entire IT ecosystem inside of our customers' organizations. And so again, it's the power and leverage of that platform. And so the Axiom acquisition very much plays into that.
Fantastic. Great to hear. How are you thinking about this in strategic terms and how it makes it practical and actionable for your customers too?
Yeah.
Jack, one last question.
Sure.
With so many announcements, so much change in the industry, such a fast pace, where are you seeing the opportunities for Okta and Okta's customers?
That's a great question. I think right now, it's all about how we can unlock this incredible, not just efficiency, but effectiveness of our humans through the augmentation of AI, right? And so we know that in our personal lives, we're experiencing incredible productivity gains with AI in general, and we need to be able to bring that into the enterprise safely, securely, where you can see it, you can control it, and you can govern it. This is my 5th Oktane. I have never felt this sort of excitement and customer demand and pull as I have for this very set of announcements around securing AI adoption.
That's awesome. Sounds like you're working on exactly the right things at the right time and you're bringing them to market quickly too.
That's the hope,
right? What more can customers ask for?
You know, that's the hope. That's what we hope our customers leave Oktane with.
Wonderful. All right, Jack, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time and for all the insights you've shared.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me at Oktane. All right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.